And well, we went. I mean, most of that was pretty hard work and pretty profound, and on a very high level. Somehow you were, at one point I was sitting. I was sitting at the mother with Sri Mataji at her dining room table, and I suddenly saw that she looked like the primordial mother, and I could see this whole array of powers that she had that had all been neatly tied off because she didn't need them. And I suddenly sort of flashed with something like that, and it was constantly really out of this world. A lot of it, the intensity of the whole thing. Another time she was just playing with a ball of energy somehow. I don't know. All kinds of. It was like you almost weren't on Earth somehow.
Yeah, totally. You were with God all the time.
It even kept us through that 6 months she was away. We used to meet once a week with the little. We all came from very different backgrounds. We had nothing in common, but somehow.
Did you meditate when you were not meeting?
Yes. We worked on each other in a kind of
sort of.
Well, Jane
meditated.
used to work on herself.
Yeah. We meditated. Somehow it kept us going. I was amazed because I'd stopped taking anything. I'd given up drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, everything, and I just kept going somehow. It's like being in a plane, that suddenly runs out of fuel and the engine stops, and you think, what's going to happen now? But it just kept going. I just kept going right, and so she came back. She told us off when she came back. Said we were all very caught up because we're not going to India now. Like she'd promised.
We're saving up to go to India.
And so I thought, oh well, we're not going. So I went and spent all my money on a big stereo system. And then 3 weeks later, she said, okay, you're cleared out now. We are going to India. So I had to start saving all over again.
And I've still got the stereo.
Some of it, parts of it. I sold some of it to Douglas. That was actually to help pay for your ticket for your honeymoon.
Really?
Yeah. But we spent. The rest of after that year was really preparing to go to India.
Yeah.
And
1976.
Yeah, 70. That was 76.
We went in January 77.
Probably one of the most awesome things that happened during that time was the time that she took us out into the garden, into a back garden, and washed our feet.
Yeah.
And
she washed your feet.
Yeah, and can you imagine what that feels like? You just.
Please tell us.
You can't put it into words. It's so humbling. It's so awesome. You're just horrified and completely. I don't know, what can you say? It's wonderful but terrible. Really.
Yeah. We stood outside, and it was getting dark, and she. I don't know. She must have taken the name of Sri Vayu, but we didn't know it at that time. And this huge wind just came and moved around the garden. It was. It's tremendous.
And we went to Western Supermare, didn't we?
Correct.
Oh yes, we had our first seminar.
Yeah, first seminar at Western Supermare.
It was her niece who had an Indian restaurant in Western Supermare.
Western Supermare, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And we were all in such a state.
We had a long weekend there, down on the train and back, and walking around on the seafront. Yeah. Sri Mataji would sit on the bench and there'd be a path, and we'd all be on the grass on the other side, all taking vibrations. And all these people sort of stopping and having to walk around us. And Sri Mataji would just carry on holding forth. She did the same on the tube. We'd all be on the tube, swaying, on the train, and she'd still be telling us things and talking to us.
What advice would she give you for?
She was always talking. It was all very high-level stuff, mostly then, wasn't it? It wasn't to do with the everyday world much.
Not at all.
It was more to do with.
And where you were at, what your catches were, what
and
your
the fact
was
that
doing.
saving the human race, and
there was little time.
It was quite awesome, really, because I looked round at this kind of lot of battle-scarred Muppets. We looked such a mess, and think, my God, how can we do anything about all this? But at the same time, we were having very powerful experiences, and then we went to India.
Yeah, January.
And for 3 months.
And we thought we'd come back perfect. At least I did.
Well, it certainly changed a lot.
It changed a lot, but it was realising what a state we were in.
Well, we horrified all the Indian yogis, of course, because we had no idea about spirituality
or protocol. And they met us off the plane, and my Sahasrara, which was a problem, Mother said I'd been dominated, and my hair had gone and all sorts of things, grey, not out. And it hurt so much. when I got out of the airport at Bombay, and my hands hurt so much I was having to dig my nails into my palm to bear it. And then I hit my head on
You
the boot of the car, and the Sahaja Yogis said, "Oh, that's better." You know, I'm nearly
And then
dying of pain.
And then they put garlands on us when we came in, and then we got into the car, and then they all surreptitiously wound down the windows and put their hands out. But we really learnt a lot about protocol. That's the first time we discovered that, you know, how you...
Because there was no one to tell us, you know.
Up till then we just chatted to she. Although we were naturally in awe of her, we still discussed things, argued sometimes, you know, asked things, talked about things, didn't we?
What's the biggest argument? Do you remember ever?
Oh, the worst one was drugs.
No, but we had that argument.
before,
That was
very
quite early on. That was
about
the first time I
second,
met
third
Gregoire. That was at Gavin's house. There was
Argument with mother?
well, there was a whole room full of hippies all arguing, all the local squatters, and they were all arguing with mother, saying drugs take you high, they're good, they're this and that. And Mataji said at a certain point she was trying to say that, you know, you can't get anywhere with drugs and you have to stop taking them. And at one stage she just sort of hugged herself like this and looked as if she just looked very unhappy. And at that moment I felt that she couldn't cross the freedom of the people, you know, and if they wouldn't listen, there was nothing she could do. And I just felt she looked like a mother, a primordial mother, and surrounded by a lot of very naughty children. And so I thought, okay, I'll stop, I'll give it a go.